Good evening, viewer. Welcome to yet another episode of our Current Affairs program, The Platform. I'm your host, Kasuja Onyonyi. Beginning last week, we've been bringing different guests into our studios, courtesy of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, to enlighten Kenyans on the importance of this coming fourth general election and the need to keep peace for the betterment of this country. This evening, we are privileged to have two gentlemen in our studio. These are none other than Archbishop Dr. Jerry Kibarabara. Welcome, Dr.
Thank you.
Dr. Jerry Kibarabara is the spiritual leader, Gospel Assemblies of Kenya, and the chairman of United Christian Churches of Kenya, UCCK. Together with Dr. Kibarabara is Dr. Hasmukh Rawal. Welcome, Dr.
Good evening to you.
Two great minds, two doctors. Dr. Rawal is an educationist. He is a philanthropist and a social worker representing the Hindu Council of Kenya. Probably start with you, Dr. Kibarabara. We are faced with an election of its own kind in the country. And unlike the conventional votings that we've done since independence, we have a barrage of people to elect into our different positions. Are you satisfied with the level of preparedness by the entire state, as it were, in readiness for the exercise?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here this evening and to be able to say a few things on this beautiful country and the election. As you rightly say, well, preparation, I think, has been made, but not to 100%. We've been all around within the whole country, like church leader, been going everywhere, meetings and an interaction with many, many people. But I want to tell you, I can see at the end of the channel, I think we have hope. The hope is there, and there is way forward. Even though there are so much, like electing 6 people within the same time, and I think it will be done.
It will be done.
It will be done. And we have no way, we have no other choice now. But to do it, it has to be done. And
I wanted us to look at, because a number, Dr. Rawal here, I want us to look at, everybody is telling the voter, I'm the right person, I'm the right man, I'm the right woman. And nobody is telling the voter the qualities that one should look into in a good leader. Are there specific yardsticks that have been prescribed that one would look for in a leader before casting or her vote?
Well, in my opinion, you know, all the leaders, the election is just selling their ideas.
The policies and ideas.
The ideas.
Correct.
And now with their ideas, one is to gauge their ideas, whether their ideas are practicable or not, whether they'll be able to deliver it or not. And in my opinion, a good leader, now he's an administrator. He's the one who is going to handle all the situation. And as far as a good administrator and a good leader, there is a direct link between a socio-economic development. So we always expect from a good leader, the idea is the development, the progress, the opportunities for all those people. And so in that particular good leader, if we find that he is the one, he has not any biased opinion, he is not a, we call it to do with ethnic nation, or he is only concerned about the religious matter and this matter. He should be above all those issues, and he should be truly a leader who is going to lead, and he is going to develop and make the life of the Wananchi, the voters, who has nominated, and he is the custodian and the trustee of all the voters. And so therefore, we expect that in a good leader, one should always have that nation come first, then anything else. So
some of these points that you're putting, Dr. Rawal, might only be practical if somebody asks you that, give me a chance to hold me accountable. Because you cannot hold me accountable,
of course,
before giving me a chance.
Yeah, because there should be an accountability. Again, we will always write the availability of these people. Once they are elected,
yes,
they may not be available to listen to the Wananchi, that they have to address their problems. Now, see, this is a pity in everywhere. that once you are elected, you are so busy. Maybe perhaps you can always come up with an excuse that you are busy in the socio-economic development, so you have no time. But always all the leaders should remember that it is the local people who has elected them. You have to give them a hearing, you listen to their problems and try to help them. And of course the transparency and all this integrity and all the other basic thing which we expect from a candidate, it has to be there. And also the leader should be tolerant, because he should not all the time stick on his particular ideology and his particular principle. He should be very, very considerable to the other points of view. And he should be an ambassador. He should be a very neutral person who can bring these other competitive candidates or competitive ideas of the other people. And he should be able to compromise, and he should be able to handle in such a way that the other competitors, they should not feel that because our ideas and our problems are brushed aside, and then they are only concerned about their parties and about all the other things. So these are, in my opinion, I feel that these are the good quality of a leader, and one should be very, very careful. Secondly, when we find that every leader or every candidate will definitely have his manifesto. Now, that manifesto one should read very, very thoroughly. In manifesto, I can say anything, because I want to sell my ideas and I want the vote and all these things.
Package it the way you want.
But we are, the voters, have to be very careful whether that manifesto, whatever is written, he can write anything. He can say, okay, now I'll make sure that I'm going to give unemployment to every youth in this country. Now, you see, this is not practicable. It is not possible, although we all wish that this thing happen. So one has to also be very, very careful in deciding about the manifesto, the contents, whether how practical, how logical, how it is possible for him, because manifesto, everybody writes volumes and volumes. And so that is one thing a voter has to be very careful. Secondly, you should also dig out the history. You know, history of a voter, candidate, you can find out from which background he has come from, where he has come from the local social environment. One can find out that what is his history, how he performed previously, what is all this. It is not by overnight, oh, I want to be elected and I become candidate. You know, one has to always find out all these things. So that is the duty of a voter. And the voter should always address or attend all these debate. They have got all the rallies also, what they are doing, their body language, how much you are convinced and how much you think. Even because they have got charisma, the candidate's charisma. Whatever they speak, people like me or you or other innocent voter will believe what he says.
Yeah.
But one has to analyze that, okay, his intention is good.
Yes.
But the problem is that whether he'll be able to perform or not.
That's the big question, Dr. Kibarabara. We've always had people, the politicians and the leaders being told, campaign on issue-based. But it is not being observed. And the depth of one's pocket seems to be determining who we are going to vote for. What would be the role of a voter here in trying to ensure that the campaigns or the messages that they are listening to from the prospective leaders are issue-based?
First of all, I want to say voting is the right of every registered voter. And they all must make sure that they come forward and vote their choices in a balanced way and well thought way, so that you do not have to regret later. Number two, what is election and why do we elect? I want to say from religious point of view is that is our inheritance voting, or the government, those who are going to rule us, is part of our national inheritance, natural inheritance, and even God's way of giving us the way forward for the peace as a facility. So if you are a registered voter and a Kenyan, you must know that it's your right to vote. Now, coming back to the major point here is that people may be told many things and have been told many, many things. And even these 2 weeks now, we can see a lot of back and forth, undermining of one another instead of bringing us the issues. The Kenyans are not fools anymore, not like many years ago. They know who has issues. They know who can do it. They know who is having a servant heart, because we want a servant, not a boss. Because whoever is going to be elected, that's not his office. That is not his family inheritance. It's the Kenyan. He's our servant. Going to the office is just like a trustee. We put him as a trustee of our resources and economic growth and development and the stability that we need in this country. So when they come and give us rhetoric, things like those so and so doing this, we don't want to hear that. Actually, we want to hear the issues. And I'm urging Kenyans that because they are mature, already I'm sure many people have decided who to vote. No matter what you tell them, no matter what you try to put them to fear, like people are told things and now you hear people who saw things in 207, they are just having a stigma. Some of them are still not sure.
Stigmatized, yes.
Yeah, whether it will be peaceful or whether they are safe. And I can tell them, don't fear. Because the politics, the aim of discussion and rallies and all these things, we want to hear issues, but instead is putting fear into people's mind and anger.
But Dr. Jerry
and
Barabara, is it that we are failing to adhere to issue-based politics because we are a nascent democracy, or it is by choice?
I think Kenya has a long way. We cannot be equaled with other advanced democracies. But what is democracy anyway? I think is the right of everybody, plus what issues and what do we gain and what do we stand for. But I think Kenya, in Africa now, is one of the best nations. I've traveled to all nations of Africa, and I've been there during elections, in Nigeria, everywhere. But I want to say, we may not understand the vocabularies of democracy and other sciences that are brought in. But I want to say, when we elect the right people here, and when we listen to people and know so-and-so are what they're offering is not actually what we know they cannot fulfill, then we would say, maybe they are the ones, the candidates, some of them may not have reached the level where Mwananchi has reached. We are more cleverer than even some of the candidates because we know what we need. So, and politics is about sharing and devolving. That's how it started. Actually, politics began many years ago in the church. Church began politics when it was decided who would be in charge of seeing that we get water, we get hospital help, we get other areas of services. That's how it began. So politics must be understood, and our people must understand, especially the candidates, that it is what we want to be managed, our resources, sharing to everyone. And we are looking for those who will be elected and telling them, please don't be selfish. Don't say it's you who put themselves there. We are the people who made them to be in those offices and sit there.
Dr. Without laboring that point, I know Dr. Rawal here has been going around the country, a few places, talking to voters of the folly of voting a person based on non-leadership merits. probably because it's my tribes fellow, probably we resonate well with members of the social club. What demerit or what are the dangers do you tell them are inherent in voting somebody who is not deserving of the position?
Well, that is what I also mentioned to you, the good water. Now let me tell you about the bad
Yes, exactly.
candidates.
That's
Bad
right.
candidates. Now the bad candidate will reverse the whole development, because the good candidate will definitely like to develop, socio-economy develop. Now if you come across a bad candidates, well, the first thing, his job is just simply to think of himself and not about the nation. So he can reverse the development of all these things. The bad candidate will be involved in all the racial and all the other politics and the religious thing and other problem he will bring in to create the instability and violence for sake of his own personal benefit, which the voter has to be careful. There is no doubt in that there is a provision in our constitutions that you can also ask somebody to step down. But again, to make once a candidate has been elected for 5 years, to get rid of him, although it is possible according to our constitutions, but it's a very long and complicated process. The first process is that at least from his constituency, from where he has come for, at least 1/3 of the people, the voter, register voter, and that also you have to consider the 1/3 of gender issue. They should sign a petition,
yes.
And then they have to forward it to the court, and the court will give their verdict. And once the court has given their verdict, then within about 30 days, the IBCP, they are definitely going to look into the thing, and then finally he will be there. But this particular process is so complicated that it is very difficult, again, to ask somebody to step down, because he will also, being a bad candidate, he will be much more better than the voter about those old issues which we are so innocent to do all these things. So in my opinion, my only suggestion and request to Wananchi is that please try to vote. First of all, my appeal to everybody is that you must vote. There is nothing to be fear about that thing. See, I come from the Asian community, and our Asian community, we are a little bit of kind of a reserve, and we don't involve ourselves in all the other issues.
Why? Why is that so?
No, because our nature, our culture is such that we are not a fighting type of attitude. We are giving in type. We are compromising type of people. So in politics, this type of...
It has nothing to do with statistics or numbers of the Asian community.
No. It has nothing.
Muscle.
And then we are also, well, even today, this morning I gave also a radio presentation in East FM radio, where I also insisted all our community that we must go for what. Nothing is going to happen. I assure everybody, I should say on my own, not on behalf of any institution, that I guarantee you that before the election, while you are voting, before the announcement of result, nothing is going to happen. You go peacefully. There is everything is in place. We have put each and every ICI, IBC. I must congratulate them. The chairman, excuse me, Mr. Hassan, who has done a very commendable job. He has done administratively. I have gone through each and every detailing about how he is going to act and what will be the eventualities. What will happen in case if something happens. So they are all prepared for all these things. They have hired all the brains in the world to make sure the administration of the voting is done in a very professional way. They have done it in perfectly way. I should say the voter will be more respected before the announcement of the result. I could say that because that is their day. In our Asian community there is a proverb in we say that there are 100 days of mother-in-law, because mother-in-law can interfere with daughter-in-law. But daughter-in-law gets 1 day where she can have her own way.
Yes.
So this is the day where it is a day of the voter. It is your day, and you should make the most of it, and you should not fear, you should not be afraid. Go with confidence, and nothing in other thing will happen which you can imagine, and you should vote because as my friend, Archbishop Dr. Gary mentioned to me just while we were having a cup of tea, and he did mention that there are many people are already, I'm not talking of Asian, but Africans, they are also started moving from other areas because they think that what happened in 2007.
And I was just about to ask you that in fact every year, election year, a number of Asian community go back either to London or to India and probably wait for the tides to settle, then they probably troop back. Are we likely to see this again this year?
I don't think so. This time we are going to set, because we are also, as an Asian community, also on our own. We also made a very good preparations for the security point of view. We have another organization, ORC, where we have got 1,000 volunteers who is going to patrol 24 hours in the first week and the last week of the election day. So that is kind of give the confidence to our Asian community. And now I'm so satisfied that after seeing these ICC and all these other issues, no candidate will ever venture to do something which is they know that now where they will march. And so therefore, in 2007, it was just, everybody was taken as a surprise. You know, you are sitting something and you are not prepared for anything, and, you know, surprisingly you can take, you can bound to do something which is not actually should be there. But now 2000 and this year election, government, of course, all the president aspirant has promised us that they are going to make sure the security is there and all this thing. But I have seen myself that as far as the preparedness of the government, the police and everybody, they are so thorough and so very well done that we have gone through all this detailing about this thing. I don't think so there could be any eventualities, because all the sensitive areas, wherever there is sensitive areas of 2007, well, I'm sure that they are already aware, they are already there, and they have made everything. So this time, I expect that Asian community should not just go to other places and come back, because all what we are trying to say, see, our Asian community, we are little shy. We have never taken part in the politics, because our elders and forefathers have been telling, oh, now you keep away from the politics, this is going to happen, all these things. And of course, we also didn't get the justice as far as our part of the politician share is concerned. But now, because of the new constitution, we are fully aware, we are all ready, we are prepared to even apply for the secretarial, for the cabinet secretary post, for the other post in the government. We are ready, we are prepared to do that. And I tell my community that, look, when you are thinking of running away like that, now how we are going to show our face to all politicians and these Vaina Inchi?
You are not going to be considered for this
not only consider, but we will feel covered. That look, now we, in first place, we want all these things.
Failure to participate in the election is voting for bad leadership.
And I am definitely sure
Doc will take a short
our community is definitely all focused, and they are confident that it is going to happen.
We are taking a short break for about a few minutes, in which we'll have some adverts running. And when we come back, we'll be focusing on what constitutes election offense and the role of the church vis-a-vis the forthcoming general election. We are speaking to Dr. Jerry Kibarabara, who is the Archbishop of the Gospel Assemblies of Kenya, the chairman of the United Christian Churches of Kenya, and together with Dr. Hasmukh Rawal, an educationist, philanthropist, and a social worker representing the Hindu Council, on our topic matter 2013 election, voter education. If you want to know what the Asian community and the church have done in preparation for the forthcoming general election and what constitutes an election offense, you better not touch that remote. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are talking to Dr. Jerry Kibarabara and Dr. Hasmukh Rawal on the topic Election 2013 Voter Education. Dr. Kibarabara, Kenya is said to be over 70% Christian community. And this is a very large constituency that forms this nation. And they have to be provided for with leadership. As a church leader, the church was accused in 2007-2008 of having failed to provide guidance, and that the church took a very strong side depending on which inclination one church aligned to. What would you say is the position in regard to this for the church? And do you think the telltale signs that were there in 2007-2008 have duly been dealt with particularly by the church leadership?
Thank you. First of all, I want to say the church was never wrong. It was the creation, part of it, of media and other people and politicians. Because we gathered our people and we voted. And when chaos came up is when you had that blaming one another. You being blamed because you maybe there was something wrong within your area. But I want to say this, 70%, we are 80% Christians in this country. And we don't want to see what happened in 2007. Nobody wants to see that. But it did not come out from the Christians or the church. It came out from the politicians. We all know. It's the question of people, as we knew, those who had claims did not go to court or what. It's thing we don't want even to talk about. But we won't talk about way forward now. Now, it is said that some people or some churches repented. Let me tell you, what about repentance? Repentance is nothing if you don't tell us what you repent of. So, I think is a way of healing, was a way of healing that maybe it was said by those who said so. Because what did I do wrong, Mr. Chachurienda?
Warrant repent.
Yeah. What did I do wrong? I went to voting, I voted, and I went home. And that's what we are telling people even now. When you vote, once you cast your vote, this time, please don't hang around. Go home, do other things. And that's what we did, some of us. So, and I'm going to do the same even now. But on guiding the people, the church has refrained from really doing or telling the membership who to vote for. That one we are not doing. What we are doing is teaching our membership the criteria of a good leader and the benefits and what we can live with. That is very, very important. And that our church in Kenya has done that. We are doing it more than the Electoral Commission, which is supposed to do the advocacy, because we have the people. And we own this country. This is our own country. So we cannot just leave it to some government commissions. And I want to tell you, and Kenyans, that we've been telling them, look for somebody who is telling us the truth. We need honesty. Honesty. The church and the religious people would want to see honesty in a candidate, in all what they are promising and what they'll do later. And the church is doing well this time, let me tell you. We have educated our people proper. And what we cannot do is coming through the mass media.
Dr. On just the same point, the church is doing very well. So let me say unconfirmed reports are indicating that a number of people who are in the hotspots of 2007-2008 post-election violence have started going back home under the fear of a repetition of the same. If the church was doing well by telling their people, don't do this, because 80% Christian, that is almost, I don't even know what percentage of the country it is, then these people would have confidence in what you are telling them and would not be moving.
Yes, but the church is not responsible for individual decisions. Even in a church service or a crusade or convention, what we preach, we let the people make their own final decisions. But I've not heard that people are moving out, and even if they are, maybe one or two individuals or some out of fear, or maybe they were harassed.
Are you trying to allay these fears?
No. What I'm trying to say, yes, but with the fact that I see hope. I don't see war at all. I see a way forward whereby we are going to elect our leaders on the March 4th, and from whatever now has been done with the Constitution and education, I don't think anybody will be allowed to ask us to demonstrate or do other things that we did last time, people did last time. Because I think there is something new, a new chapter that has been opened in Kenya, and a maturity. And also, many years of this type of democracy now, people are learning. So, the church cannot be responsible for those few people who might decide to go home or change the positions or change the location. But I'm saying on general and on the whole is that people should not go. Stay where you are.
That's a clarion call.
Yes, stay where you are. Because why do you fear? First of all, we have God. We fear. We have God, whom we believe that He is the protector of human life. And don't see people panicking. I don't see why they should panic. Because it's there. We are going to be there. Those who are running away, please just be where you are. Just go and vote and stay home and don't agree with anybody inciting you. There is a lot of what we call, the government is saying about hate speech is not going to be there. Actually has been reduced. So I don't have to listen. We have a choice. God has given us our own rights to choose
a leader of your choice.
Yes, and choose the leader and go home. Let's wait for
the final verdict.
For the final verdict.
Dr. Rawal, Dr. Kibarabara here is mentioning hate speech. And hate speech has been a catchphrase in this election for some time. I want us to look at it holistically together with other electoral offenses. What really constitutes an electoral offense, and where should they be reported?
Well, you know, once you say hate speech, now, had it not been the IBC and other rules and regulations in place, I could foresee that there could be many hate speeches taking place and creating havoc. So, all what I would like to repeatedly tell Wananchi again and again, that look, there is nothing to be feared, there is nothing going to happen. You, as Archbishop has already said, go there. You will be respected while you are voting, and don't stay there. Go and stay at home and continue doing your work, and don't be involved in any other speeches or other whatsoever it may be. And but in spite of that, you know, there's always black sheep in our family. That's so right. There could be so many offenses. And although I pray to Almighty God that this time there should not be a single offense. We should have a record breaking, and let us prove to the world. Actually, our presidential debate, which has been there, it is a history in not only in the country but in the world. It has been shown that how Kenya in future is going to develop and who will be our next president, and 8 candidates at one platform. And if they could have a debate and there with the respect and dignity, calling everybody my brother, and I have nothing to do that. Now that itself is a very big achievement. I heard also few candidates said that if I lose, I am going to step down gracefully. And that is the right spirit which he should do. And he has no choice. He has to step down gracefully, because there is already the law and regulation and judiciary and everybody is there. To look into. If you think that this particular thing is not justified, some malpractice was going on, fair enough. You can go to the court, and then there is a process which you are going to go ahead. But after all the precautions you are taking, and it is 100% waterproof, but still there could be some elements, and so therefore we have to have some offences in the electoral offences, and it varies. And according to the elections and according to Election Act in the Constitution, it has been provided that now supposing you try to fiddle with the ballot paper, right, try to forge these, reprint it again and remove the ballot paper from the station to outside and everything to do with the ballot paper, because the criminal mind has got many other way how to sneak in and all these things. But all the other issues we have looked into. If you are not authorized to vote, and if you go to vote, or if you double vote, and plus you try to bribe or intimidate a candidate at that particular time, whatever reason it may be, so everybody's eye is focused on that. And now technology is so advanced that you will not be able to do as the history what we have been doing. So, but in spite of all this thing, I told you that there is always some elements. For that, there is a very strict penalty which has been imposed. The penalty has gone to 1 million shilling. And 6 years imprisonment, that either you can be fined 1 million shilling if you contravene any of these offences, or you will be 6 years imprisonment, or both can go at the same time, and you will be barred from not taking part in the election, not only this election, but even the next election. Because if you are going to be in prison for 6 years, the next election will be after 5 years, so you will be still rotting in the jail. And at the same time, if you try to give wrong representation in the registration of the voter while you are registering, and give some false information in that thing, there is also a fine given to you, about 100,000 shilling. You have to pay the fine, and again you will be imposed 6 years imprisonment, or both, whatever it may be. And also at the same time, you will not be allowed to vote even this year or even the next year. So these are all as far as the voters are concerned, the ballot paper and all these things. But supposing if the commissioner, who are the officer in charge of overseeing, like IBC, all the commissioners, now if they commit any crime, or if they commit anything else, well, of course, 1 million penalty is going to be there, 6 years imprisonment, or both will be imposed on them, and they will not be allowed also to vote this year and next year. And on top of it, for the next 10 years, that commissioner will not be allowed to take any part in the government. Now you tell me, even if you are criminal minded, whatever you have got in your mind today, right, please forget all these things, because the penalty is heavy. It is not worth doing all these small petty things just for sake of who? Like IDPD, the situations here, people have died. But now you can see what is happening to them. So therefore, this is also one of the process for me. I want to convince the Wananchi, please go for voting. Everything, forget about the security is very tight. All the regulations are very, very tight. As far as the offense penalty is such that one can never even imagine to create these nonsense. And so therefore, I am convinced that this time this voter will definitely be able to be much more smoother, in a better way, in a professional way than the previous one.
Dr. Barabara, we know that judiciary has done a good and commendable job in trying to transforming its activities and services. But the recent, so to speak, yesterday's pronouncement by the Chief Justice, the Honorable Willie Mutunga, leaves some bitter taste in the mouths of those who wish to seek justice from these houses of justice. What is your comment on this, and does it really portend well for our political dispensation as we get towards the forthcoming general election?
Actually, I don't have details, like everybody don't have those details of what happened.
But he was graphic enough to say that his life is in danger. Hearing, yes, but that is there's an outlawed group that has so far threatened
everybody, whatever happened this time, just have a sober approach on issues. I don't know what happened at the airport or wherever else, but I know what we are told by general law, that when you are wronged, you just go to report to the police. That's what we do. Most of us church leaders in our level are all the time given threats, many times. But I would pray that they would cool down, sober down. I think we respect Dr. Mutunga very much, everybody. And we are very happy about what he's doing. So I would pray that whatever is being discussed and whatever was discussed, as you understand, this morning, let's do it well in a humbler way, so that we do not bring kind of a confusion and taking sides of people. Because, let me tell you this, as a father now, and I consider all senior people, like heading those kind of like the judiciary, is a father. A father will look at things. I have many issues. I lead many people, and some of them hurt me a lot. So, but there are times that we look at things and say, if I blow up this one, maybe it will bring more chaos. Now, my prayer to the Kenyans now who have heard this, because we have all heard, and I know now everybody is making some kind of judgment or what, which sober down. Let's approach these issues. Let's give to the police or to the machineries that can handle that. And let's not forget about voting. Let's not be distracted from voting. Me, I'm telling people, let's go to voting, and we vote the people we need. And if there are issues internal, let them solve eternally. And we need peace. We respect all of them. And like I'm saying here, Kenya cannot afford any more bitterness. We cannot afford more anger. We cannot afford more confusion. I pray that whoever is wronged, do it. Ask. Of course, you got the right to ask. Ask in a humble way. Let's all be sober. Otherwise, all of us, if we this morning take a press conferences, there'll be many. There'll be many. So let's do it well. He's our father there. He's in charge. We respect him. Personally, I hold high esteem on him. So, and others who are involved, let's not quarrel now.
Dr. Rawal here has an additional point probably to make observations on the same.
You see, I don't have mandate to talk on any political ideology or in any other political issue.
Politics.
But all what I would like to say that this incident, it is a pity. It is most unfortunate. It should not ever happen. But in the last, when the CJ has mentioned at the end, that is also very, very important on my point of view as far as the voting and voters are concerned, that he himself has said very loud and clear that judiciary will not be succumb to any intimidation, any blackmailing or anything or life threat, whatever it may be. Judiciary is above all those things. Now that has built up a lot of confidence in all the Wananchi, and now the Honorable Dr. Willie Matunga has really reformed judiciary to the expect. We never expected that suddenly judiciary will have such a high credits. And I must give credit to himself for all the hard work which he has done and all the preparedness about all the, which I mentioned about the penalties and about all these, the candidates complain, which judiciary is definitely going to handle it. I am confident without any favor and fear, under any circumstances, whosoever it may be. Now that is the biggest solace which Willie Matunga has today given to the nations. I am not comment about what has happened and why it has happened and good or bad, nothing. But this was my part of it, where all the voters, now this addition thing, penalty and the justice and the preparedness. Now what else a country can do to secure the voters' security while they are going for voting?
Probably we have very few minutes left, Dr. Kibarabara. Your last words too in terms of telling Kenyans in regard to the general election?
Yes, the general election has come. No doubt about it. We have it within few days now.
Yes, less than 10 days. So
10 days?
Yes.
And I would ask every Kenyan to prepare to vote. And when you vote, go home. Remembering that After all, this is our country, and we all own it. The ownership is to all of us. Not even those who will be elected will say they own the country. It's all of us. So I'm urging all Kenyans to keep peace wherever they are, and do not listen to any those things that might put you to anger. Just you know what you want. Like me, I know what I want. No matter what you tell me now.
It's too late to
It's
convince your mind. You've
so
made up
don't
your
tell
mind.
us about it. We know you candidates. I'm talking to you, you candidates. We know you. We love you. You are our people. Like the church, we had the interview with them the other day, and it was so good for them to speak to us. And those who are not able to come, we still prayed for them. So let's go to elections. Let's forget about our personal differences. Let's go forward. And you candidates, please show us the way, and we'll vote.
Dr. Rawal.
My final submission is only, and I pray, and the crust of the whole matter is that whosoever it may be, if they lose, please step down gracefully, respectfully, in order to give chance to the winner to carry on to build up our country peacefully. And in spite of that, if you have any issue, please knock the door of the judiciary. They'll be able to do justice to you without any other thing. So all what I want, that the loser, whosoever it may be, whether it can be presidential, anybody, if they step down gracefully, he has done everything, what even the country cannot do. He has done a biggest favor to the country by stepping down gracefully.
The Kenya National Integrated Civic Education have a website through which you could get more information. If you want to know how the election informations are obtained, you can go to their website, www.knice.go.ke. I repeat, www.knice.go.ke. You can also follow them on Twitter on at KNICE Kenya, and Facebook, which is also KNICE Kenya. You can also get more information on the website of IBC on election matters, and it will be a very important education forum for you, the viewer. We've been speaking to Dr. Jerry Kibarabara, who is the Archbishop of the Gospel Assemblies of Kenya and the chairperson of the United Christian Churches of Kenya, UCCK, together with Dr. Hasmukh Rawal, an educationist, philanthropist, and social worker representing the Hindu Council on the subject matter election 2013. And as I put it very clearly, the clarion call is clear here, that we should vote peacefully. And to our leaders, if you feel that there is anything that did not go as expected and you feel should change, seek for remedial measures within the corridors of justice and avoid any situations that would bring this country to what was witnessed in 2007, 2008. On that note, we come to the end of our live transmission of the platform. On behalf of my two guests here and the entire platform crew, my name is Kasuja Onyonyi saying, hadi wiki ijayo, asanteni sana. Thank you very much.
Anyway, good night all the Wananchi, and wish you good luck in your voting.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Dr. Ali.
Thank you, sir.
KBC Channel 1, Kenya's watching.